time in the hospitality industry as well. And now I'm with the National Bank. My role currently is my position, as Afif mentioned, is as a head of people development, but I'm also looking after the learning and development, employee engagement, and performance management at the bank. So I have a bigger role than the title it says. My aspiration at the bank is, of course, create a learning and engaging culture at the bank to foster operational, personal growth within the teams, to create a legacy going forward, that to say that the bank uh, aspire to be the best employer in the country. So this is something that is very important to us. At this moment, I must accord and appreciate my mentors, my gurus, the management of the bank, uh, my lovely wife who is giving me a smile right next to me here, and my family as well. So my topic for today is driving learning efforts virtually and keeping remote teams engaged. And I think this is the perfect example that we are going on today, keeping the remote teams, remote people who are located all over the world, from Singapore, Philippines, Sri Lanka, India, uh, all the way to Trinidad and Tobago. I know that there's a speaker who will be joining us later today or tomorrow. So all across the globe, we're keeping people engaged. So this is the perfect example that we can do in terms of engaging people. Uh, Before I go about talking about my topic, for the benefit of the international participants who probably doesn't have any idea on India as the Bank of Maldives, let me start by introducing the Bank of Maldives to you. So this is the Bank of Maldives is the national bank, Aharing Bank, Divahing Bank. So we are all across the country. We are spread about 700 odd square kilometers from north to south. We are present in every inhabited island in the Maldives. We have 38 branches, 56 self-service banking centers, 119 ATMs, 277 agents, and we have recently introduced the deposit function with the agent. We have 5,300 POS merchants, and we also have the most unique banking service in the world, which is called Doni Banking. These branches, they travel to the islands in the atoll, giving banking service. So imagine the disbursement, the geographically separated teams that we have across Maldives. We have teams including 3 people in an outlet to 5 people in a branch, and so on. So we have all across Maldives, the scattered all across Maldives. Our workforce is 99% local, and 1/3 of our employees are located in the atolls. The bank has a solid financial platform. It's well over the required rate of the central bank reserve. We have a value-driven, high-performing organization. We've achieved a billion rupiah in profit past 2 years. We are the biggest customer base of 285,000, and we have the leading market share in retail, corporate, and SME segments. We are a full function retail and commercial bank with an Islamic banking window. We are the first to launch the POS service. We are the first to launch the internet banking. We are the first to launch the cash and deposit machines in the country. We have quite an experienced team. We have our leadership team who are doing fantastic work, and we have our qualified leadership team. In fact, the first chartered bankers who are graduated in Maldives, 5 of them are in the bank itself. We are leaders in the service delivery with the largest network, exclusive acquirer of American Express, and a principal member of the MasterCard. So a little bit about the bank. In terms of delivering, in terms of people development, which is one of our strategic foundations of the bank, we've done in a number of efforts, we've done a number of initiatives in enhancing the work environment, creating a better work experience for our people. Uh, as you can see, we have received the Asia's Best Employer Brand Award 3 years in a success from the World HRD Congress and Employer Branding Institute. We were also a winner of the Excellence in Training and Development Award, the World HRD Congress in 2019. So these are the few, a lot of efforts that we create in terms of people excellence, because people excellence is one of our foundations, strategic foundations. We depend on our people to deliver the excellent results to the customers. Uh, from here, before I move on to my topic, I would like to also mention that the lot of initiatives and practices that I'm going to present here includes a lot of people's efforts and contribution. I would like to highlight Mr. Ahmed Ibrahim, who is the Vice President of MAP, who was my mentor before at the bank. He's done a lot of work in establishing and driving all these initiatives that we are doing at the bank. Also, Shuaz, who is also a member, an EXCO member at MAP, and these are two people that I would like to highlight. Since they are present here, I'm sure I must mention about their efforts who have help us develop and drive these efforts. So let's look at employee engagement. So what is engagement? What are we talking about engagement? Afif, can you help me to go to my first question on the Mentimeter, please?
Yes, yes, okay. So all the participants now, what we're going to do is, say we are going to show you the Mentimeter question, okay? So we're going to, right now you are going to see the screen from MAP, you're going to see the screen, okay? So this is the, hold on, just give us a moment in this moment here. Good. So while we're just putting the Mentimeter question, why don't the participants go to the chat box and, just write a question here. How many of you use, this is a question from me, how many of you use the Bank of Maldives service? Okay. Just say, right, me, like that. Just write the response there while we actually put in the Mentimeter question here.
A very good question, Afif. I should have asked the question to the audience, but I see a lot of international participants. You said also here.
Yeah. Ashraf, you wanna continue a little bit? They chat with the participants while I put this up. It may take just 30 seconds, okay? All right, sure. Now I am ready actually. So
okay.
We're gonna just put this together. Okay. So, all right, because I think already the parts. So you will see from the screen right now the Mentimeter question, please. So so to do this, what you have to do is you have to go to the www.menti.com, and the code is 618467. Yeah, so 618467. You can write. Go to in any device. Go to web page www.menti.com, and the first question there is how engaged are you in your workplace, and you can pick up any one of these questions. Very good. Yeah, so I think we have a good response for this question, Ashraf. Shall we go to the next one?
Yes. Brilliant answers, and appreciate your responses. So according to a Deloitte Millennium survey, this survey was done back in 2014-2015. There was a projection that 3/4 of the workforce are going to be taken over by the millennials. So the the global workforce by 2025, it will be 3/4 taken over by by millennials. I think the Bank of Maldives has realized this a little bit earlier than most organizations, based on the responses that you have given to the question, I am also very happy to see that most of you are engaged in the workplace, which should be fine, and these initiatives can be done at any place. So what we have learned is, we have learned that learning is a key driver for employee engagement. So we have put in learning efforts in the organization, which will help drive employee engagement. Ultimately, this is going to lead to, of course, the business impact. But what is learning? What are we trying to learn here? So learning, the modern career here, is about a continuous learning journey. It's not about the everyday skill that you learn. Or not about, it's not about that you are being an accountant and you are stagnant and to be an accountant for the day. You're not just saying that, okay, you are a recruiter or HR person that recruits people and you're going to be recruiting for the rest of your life. You just cannot, I mean, you cannot say that, and you cannot be doing that for the rest of the work life that you're going to be doing. So learning comes, the journey starts, and there are three aspects that considers here in any trade. First thing is the best business acumen. You need to understand the industry that you're working. I like this, the presentation that Eddie gave, and Eddie mentioned about this. He worked in many industries, and then he needs to learn about the industry, which is very important. If you're working in the hospitality, first thing that you need to have that business acumen, you need to have that business knowledge. What are your sales teams going to do? Second is, in any workplace, you need to create that relationships, interdepartmental, interpersonal relationships, relationships within your customers, and so on. The third is, of course, if you are an HR person, the HR practices. If you are an accounting person, the accounting knowledge and accounting background. You need to learn all these things, because there is a demand to turn workplaces into hubs of personal development. It's more like becoming a place that we bring out qualified, quality people who are going above and beyond to deliver, uh, in terms of, especially kind of in terms of the crisis that we are going through. So one of our most successful um, employee engagement initiatives
Ashraf, I have
is.
Ashraf, sorry to interrupt. Just a question, because we still have four questions on the Mentimeter. Do you want to go ahead and complete four and do your
um,
presentation?
Actually, I have put it in three different areas, because
Okay. So do you
we
want to
see
see the slide now?
uh, uh, I will ask you when I want the question to be going.
No, I mean you want to
Is
see
there?
your slide now, right?
No, I will let you know when I want the
Okay. All right.
question.
Okay. Okay. Good. I'm just checking from. Yeah. Okay. Good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No problem, because my questions are linked to the concepts that I am
All
presenting.
right. Go
So I
ahead.
want to know
Go
what we
ahead.
are doing.
All good.
All
All good.
right. Thank you, Afif. So one of our most successful initiatives, engagement initiatives, it's called Badahi. For the literal meaning for Badahi is good connections. So we theme this is as unite, fun, and engage. So engagement, getting people together. Food is always that counts. Food brings people together. So everybody likes food. So what we do here is, we are based in Male, the capital, and as you saw in my first slides, the disbursement of our people across the country. So we needed to engage these people. So we needed to find out ways of bringing these people together. So a group of people will travel from the head office, the support functions, from different departments, different areas to a particular area. For example, they'll travel to the north, and we will bring four or five branches together, and we spend one day on one of our beautiful, um, serene beaches, clear waters, kind of resort like island, but of course without the resort facilities. We still have that beautiful beaches and the waters. We can go and swim. So we bring these people together, and we go about doing with some fun activities. uh, we do have fun. We eat. and we together we will prepare things. And all this, the importance of this is we create these activities around the core values of the bank. This helps people to bring people together. They understand the core values of the bank. Now you see, imagine if you want to create a culture, values comes first. So you need to understand these values. What are the value, the meaning of the values? What does the values do to the organization? What does a value do in terms of creating the culture? So we have four core values at the bank. We create activities and games around these core values, and we enjoy, we bring in people together from different branches whom they have never seen in their life, but they're working for the same organization. This helped a lot. It brought tremendous collaboration, tremendous results in terms of working in teams. They started to communicate, they started to help each other. It brought up a lot of uh, he created a sort of a knowledge base within the teams and created to help each other, bringing in tremendous positive results. We've learned a few additional things over the period, and then what we introduced was we picked few topics. For example, we pick the customer satisfaction or communication. So we will play around when we go about doing some physical exercises in order to warm up, and then we play some role plays during the time. And again we play, we learn, we explain what went wrong, what we can improve, and it helped us to reassess the program and bring in some new learning experience with the demonstrations and best practices. This helped us in in every way to bring in positive changes within the branches of our staff, as well as those staff who were working at the back office. They were very happy to be close to these people whom they have never seen in their life, but working for the same organization. The challenge that we have geographically is travel and transport. Uh, but this was before COVID, before the pandemic, and now we are trying to find out ways that how we can do such other initiatives. But still, we continue on providing quarterly activities where the branch staff can have, for example, they can celebrate their birthdays, they can celebrate for go and have a picnic within the branches. Uh, if there are the islands that is not in monitoring state, the possibility is still there. So this is one of our top, the best or one of our most result bringing initiative on in terms of employee engagement. And this led us to create and build the relationship between. It also helped to identify the strengths and weaknesses within each other in building their career. So we learned that learning is the key driver to uh, engagement, and the funnel, as you can see, goes learning. The more learning it creates, the more engagement. The more engagement it creates, more knowledge and skills within the teams, and ultimately it brings uh, high output business input impact to the organization. So the more learning efforts, the more learning initiatives they be put in. Like I said, during the Badahi trips, we just not focus on having a good time, but also we bring it some learning experiences within the time that we spend together. And I'm very happy to say that in these trips, uh, uh, leaders, even heads of departments, managers, they take part in, they give time to take part in these activities, in these trips, and help people to engage to and go ahead. Since we need much more learnings, we introduced a lot of learning interventions. We brought learning interventions from classroom trainings. We do virtual sessions, induction and onboarding. We have atoll based refresher trainings, as we are in the financial industry, we are heavily regulated, and we need to provide certain mandatory regulatory required trainings to the all staff throughout the year. So we probably we will bring about 4 or 5 branches again. We travel to the atolls over a weekend. We bring them together. We do the training again. We find some time to enjoy, engage, and discuss the topics that we want to do. What are the challenges? And a team will travel from Male, including sometimes we include exco members, and then it gives an opportunity to engage and talk to these people and exchange ideas and bring positive impacts to the teamwork and as well as the results that we are looking for. We also provide local and overseas programs, opportunities that staff can go and participate. We have introduced staff development schemes in terms of educational. Uh, we have two specific programs. One is that staff, if they want to study based in Mali in a college, they can study up to master's degree, which is related to their work, or even a degree or a master's, and bank will sponsor their education. Bank also work with Villa College to develop and bring into existence the first banking and finance program in the country, which we are sponsoring 15 candidates to go through the diploma program and then followed by the degree. We've also opened internship programs. We have graduate internship schemes, which we open to the colleges and universities in the country, where we bring in those students, 15 students on board, and provide them internships. So these are a lot of learning interventions that we have brought about in terms of creating uh, creating the engagement, the amount of learning to create that culture. Uh, we've actually been able to achieve to some extent. I've seen a lot of staff from Bank of Maldives participating in this conference as well. I know for a fact that there are managers and people at the bank who participate in all these conferences, they for their self-development. And I've seen that managers go and advocate and pass the knowledge to their employees. They sometimes call me and discuss what they have learned over the conference and how they can bring the knowledge down to the line. So this makes me really happy to see that we have to some extent created the culture that we wanted within the managers. And then, of course, there is always room for improvement. As you have seen that how much we are scattered geographically, and we needed to keep up flowing the information. We initiated and implemented something called the weekly training. We call it weekly training, but it's a virtual session that happens every week. So we started with some old school facilities. We started with a WebEx a platform called WebEx, but unfortunately the bandwidth didn't help us to go forward with the WebEx. So we switched to the conference system. You can see the conference, the font that is we used to see on the conference rooms. I think, in fact, even now there are these conference systems on some offices. So we use these conference systems. We had to call in a favor from Virago, in fact, to extend the number of callers who can join to one conference from 20 to 50. And Ahmad, thank you for doing it. Ahmad was the person who initiated and did it for us. And then this is how we used to do it. Somebody will be speaking over the phone. We will send the presentations over, and then they will play the presentation. We will tell them the slide number. So this is how we did. But this brought us a lot of positivity. We kept them on hold. Now, in these sessions, close to 400, 300 plus staff will be participating. All branches, customer service, call center supervisors, all of them will participate. These sessions brought us a lot. What did we do? We provided the updates, weekly updates. We provided the new products, product changes, procedures, procedural changes. We provided skills trainings. We ran promotions. We needed to keep them engaged. We needed to keep giving the floor to them. We had to discuss before every product is launched. Somebody from the relevant department will join us in these weekly calls, virtual sessions, and then explain the audience what they are going to do. Uh, Finally, by January in 2020, just in time, I would say, we were able to do the training using Microsoft Teams, and so it was a it was a very amazing day that we finally achieved this. All thanks to our IT team who has helped us do this, and this made the lives of us very easy. And this has been successfully running for the past 3 years. So imagine the amount of contact we are having. We are having the engagement every week. We spend an hour over talking about the issues, talking about the processes. These are the things that we needed to do. So going forward, before I go forward, can I ask Afif to put up the second question for the audience to answer?
Yes, wonderful. So let me just get that
So
going. Yes, Ashraf, go ahead.
no, while you put up the question, I was going through the comments and see if there is any question that I can answer.
Yes. So in the meantime, all the participants, are you enjoying this case study sharing by Ashraf? If so, go ahead and say yes. Give some spirit there for Ashraf. And you're going to see the next question right away. So you will see the slide of the Mentimeter. It's the same code that we used before. So go to menti.com. And the next question is this. Okay, hold on. It didn't come yet. Okay. Hold on. It should come. It should come. It should come. Okay, now hold on. Give me just a moment. Wait. Okay, so make sure that you are on the Mentimeter. We're just showing you we're just gonna show you the question now. Good, so here is the next question. Thing you is yes. So are you accessible to any e-learning platforms at your workplace? So go ahead and write your, response to the question by, yeah. So the Mentimeter code is the same as before, 618467. Go to any web browser, write www.menti.com. Then the code is 618467, and you can respond to this. Some interesting results here, Ashraf. Don't you think so?
I actually was not expecting this, but it shows I think it shows the amount, the yearning that people want to learn.
Absolutely, yeah.
Greed of knowledge, actually.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think what we are seeing here is just the hunger for people to really get themselves into learning and different platforms. So over to you, Ashraf. Take it from there.
Yeah. So I will continue with my presentation from here. Thank you, participants, for the response. I was going into our next topic that we have a learning BML L&D portal, which is the e-learning portal. So this, what you're seeing, is the previous learning and development portal, which was hosted on Moodle. And I'm going to take a moment to give credit to the previous learning and development manager, Mr. Hussein Naim. I hope he is listening in the audience, and this was his initiation, actually, that brought this learning and development portal into the bank. And he has eventually left the bank, but I wish him all the best. But he has done this fantastic initiative, which we brought some of the mandatory trainings. We hired a foreign party to develop the training modules for us. But unfortunately, what happened was we felt that there is the bigger need for knowledge within the people. Like Afif mentioned, they are hungry for knowledge. And this system had a limitation with us because it has to be, it can only be accessed through the intranet of the bank. So we did a little bit of research. We wanted to make a change in that. And finally, we were able to establish our new BML e-learning lab. This is we call it BML Kieveni. This is the new e-learning platform, the BML e-learning lab. So this is a cloud-based system which can access up to 900 different training courses. You can access it anywhere, anytime. It goes on your mobile. It can be accessed through your iPad, through your tablet, a system at your home, anytime, anywhere. You can go on. Maybe you can spend time on learning while you are on the toilet for 15 minutes in the morning. You can still do that. So this has brought us an enormous amount of value add, because we have the best of the shelf content library in the universe, advertised by the service provider for us. For your information, the service provider is Litmus by SAP. Again, I want to thank Shwaz for helping me with the initial research work in bringing in the system. He was the person who actually did all the research for me, and we were very lucky, in fact, to bring this system in February. We launched it in February, and during the pandemic hit, this was our highlight of the time that we kept our people engaged. So you see on the left, the image on the left, the Learning Path customer service champion. These are the graphics or the infographics prepared by our internal communication team. So they will be sending out these communications to our staff to keep them engaged through learning. These courses are very interactive courses. They can earn badges and they can earn points through the e-learning system. So this was a really helpful thing that we did. We brought the system into our hands, learning anywhere, anytime. We are currently working on bringing the mandatory trainings into the system, because currently we cannot travel to other parts of the country, and also it's a limitation. We are having to do classroom trainings. So for the mandatory trainings, my team is my team is joining in this conference, but they have been working for the past a week or so, doing the videos, the content, and we are not very experienced in doing the e-learning content, but somehow they've done a lot of research. They've spent a lot of time in how they're going to create this content, and they have been successful in doing that, and we are continuously doing it. This is our latest initiation, the initiative that we have brought in. It's called the BML Virtual Learner Series. So what you're going through is a virtual session there. Currently, this L&D conference is a virtual session. So similarly, we have our in-house virtual learner series. So we have started this in June. We have next session scheduled on 14th, and followed by another session on 21st of July. So we intend to do a session twice a month, and we pick topics related to their the current situation. Like you can see in the middle picture, that the mental well-being post-COVID session presented by Leash and team. This was like a very successful initiative that we have brought up. We've seen close to 100 staff joining into these sessions. It was a wonderful thing that we are doing. So Afif, can I ask you to put up the question number 3? Yeah, I'm almost about to finish the presentation. So just before I finish up, I would like to ask one more question with you.
Yes, of course. Let's get straight away to the question. in the meantime, I mean, I think Ashraf shared some really great ideas there. I mean, I already made a lot of notes about it. And if you could go to the chat box and write one idea you have learned so far from Ashraf. I mean, for me, I learned especially the internal virtual, learning series that you just shared. So go to the chat box and write an idea while I take just one moment to basically to put this slide deck here together. Okay, so please look at your screen. You will see the next question that we would like to ask. Where do you think learning and engagement starts? So please respond. Same code 618467. So keep the responses coming. It's the same code. I guess by now most users are accustomed to using the Mentimeter. And if you are L&D professional, there's a free version of Mentimeter available, but usually in free version you can only do 2 questions. It's always a great tool to share. And obviously all the slides and responses, this also will be shared with you. We'll create a platform where you can download this. So, Ashraf, over to you.
Thank you, Afif. I think the Mentimeter has also helped us to keep the audience awake during in these afternoon sessions. So well done, Afif, in introducing this and using this. So the answers, thank you, audience, for the answers. Looking at the answers, it was quite a close call. It says the top management or is a team effort. So how does we foster engagements? Because my topic is more employee engagement, engaging the virtual team, or engaging the diverse teams. 3 things actually in order to foster high engagement. I'll make it very short. Number 1 is managers need to be learning catalysts. What do I mean by catalysts? They need to be promoters. They need to be practitioners. They need to start leading from the front. Learning culture from the top can have a ripple effect and boost overall engagement by supporting growth and development within teams. Engaged managers pass down the impact significantly down the line. And in order to do this, one idea I can share with you is that you can create a manager-driven learning path or learning journey. Give a specific period of time, let's say 30 days, 60 days, or a 90-day period. By doing this, managers kind of they have to be involved in looking after the learning of their subordinates or the teams. Secondly is the regular assessment and monitoring. You remember that we used to get the report cards at the school. We don't know how we have done at school unless we get the report card, and the parents will also will be looking after where's your report card, and you have to get a report card when you go home on the report giving day. So likewise, we need to continuously assess and monitor our people. Different people has different learning paths, learning patterns. We need to, in order to foster high engagement, learning is the key driver. And then we have to identify, monitor, assess how much people have learned. What are the learning gaps, and what are the things that we need to include? Like I mentioned, that during the weekly sessions, we often find, for example, a branch or a particular area might be is showing a little bit more risk issues. This is where we need a learning intervention. We bring in somebody who can talk about this, and everybody learns together. You need to insist in making people to learn to ensure higher education. Thirdly, gamify, incentivize, and reward. Youth, you remember, 3/4 of our workforce is going to be millennials. They think differently. They want different things. They want recognition. One of the top factors that they consider an employer is how much they are being recognized in the organization. They want competition. So if we put in gamification, if we put some incentives and we give reward recognition, they will obviously come out with, because they will be playing, learning, while playing, learning, compete with their friends, compete with their colleagues, and see, everybody wants to be on that leaderboard at the end of the day. So we have technology at our hands, we can do it. That is what we are doing, what the Bank of Maldives is doing through their learning system. We give badges, we give points. Who knows, by next year, there might be a learning champion award at the staff award night. So these are the things that we can do. It's a win-win. So in order to foster higher education, keep on learning, keep on investing into learning, keep on investing, creating a learning culture, giving more learning opportunities. So I hope this was helpful. But before I close, Afif, the last question I want to ask the audience on what they're going to do about after this. Afif, are you there?
Yes, Ashraf. Yes. So you want to put the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So we are gonna go right into the question, and all participants, you should.
this is a very important question, actually. So the question itself, when you see the question, you know. Yeah. So this was the Bank of Maldives case. What I have presented to you is how much we have done with the help of a lot of people who have been there for us, who has done a lot of work, and we've seen tremendous information improvements, positive results. So this is how much impact do you think you can bring into your organization in terms of learning and engagement? Don't think about anybody else. Think about yourself. What are you going to do? What would be your learning points from here going forward? There's a quite a good number of response, I think, and I'm really happy to see that our most number of participants will make sure that it counts your efforts to bring in higher engagement impact in terms of learning and engagement. Thank you, Afif. I'm going to okay, yeah. So finally, just to close, I would like to say that if you want to do something and get a positive result out of it, don't think too much. All you need is doing it with all your heart, selflessly, and the result is just unmatchable. That is what you require. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, the management of the bank, my mentors, seniors, gurus for helping me reach where I am today. And also thank you for the wonderful internal communications team of the Bank of Maldives who has helped me to, who has done amazing artwork in the communication, and also MAP and Afif for the opportunities you have been giving to me. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Ashraf. Good job, participants. I think that was a wonderful session there by Ashraf. I know we are a little bit out of the time, but I just want to ask you, one question, and there's some of the questions that came that kind of link with that. How do you convince the top management to invest in learning and development initiatives, which seems to be a challenge in many organizations? So, just very briefly, if you can share some insight into that.
I'll bring you a fact into it, right? Before I joined the bank, the bank used to do 3,500 hours of training per year. It was something around that, 3,500 hours of training per year. That's close to let's say 800 odd staff. Now we have close to 1,000 staff. We were able to clock 1,500 hours per month through these learning initiatives. And if we consider the number of the amount of money that we spend, we did not actually spend much of the management is always very conscious about the costs. So you need to come up with ideas that we don't spend too much cost, and but we can bring in results through learning. So for example, the weekly sessions, the virtual sessions that we used to do, we did it for continuously for 3 years. We did not spend any amount of money on that, but it brought us a huge amount of impact. Now these initiatives probably given confidence to the management that we are here to do, bring in the results. So my advice is, like, if you want to do something, just don't wait to your management to say or to get the approval from them. Uh, when it comes to approvals, it takes a time. Even for the bank, sometimes it happens. However, we find other solutions, we find alternative solutions to bring in the result. If you have a will, you will find a way.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, if, for example, in terms of creating your own learning platforms, there are now free free platforms available that you can actually spend some time, create it, upload your own content and video. And yeah, I go with your response there. I mean, if there is a will, there is a way. I think a lot of the things is,
See, in terms of creating the training content for now, to be uploaded into the e-learning system, we're not spending anything. We are looking for alternative ways. We are looking for free software, free platforms, and then we are doing it. And my team is doing it and putting it there.
yeah, I agree. And I just want to leave Ashraf you with a thought. There was a comment from a participant. There's in fact two questions related to that. The question was really, would bank be interested in investing in the participants? Would the bank be interested in investing in learning of non-banking staff? So one thing, one of the participants suggested that perhaps you can create a community learning platform where people who doesn't work in the bank can actually engage in learning. It could be about service, it could be about banking, and so on and so forth. So I will leave you this with thought. If you want to say something, yes, go ahead.
Just a thought, since you mentioned it, Afif, and thank you for, I'm not sure who pointed it out, but pointing it out. We were eventually working towards creating a more open learning opportunity, and not just for the bank, but we are also an organization who wants the best talent in the country. So we actually were working towards in creating a learning academy sort of thing, and bring in the trained people, bring on board. So we were, yes, obviously open for it, but unfortunately the pandemic hit us, and we have to put those plans a little bit for a later time.
Yeah, very good, Ashraf. Thank you so much for your sharing and bringing us these insights. I'm sure it'll be very helpful for all our participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Afif.